Imagine a city renowned for its breathtaking natural beauty, innovative tech industry, and vibrant culture. A city that's a global hub of progress and prosperity. Now, imagine that same city grappling with an escalating crisis, a stark contrast to its gleaming facade. This isn't a fictional dystopia. This is the reality of Seattle today. A city once celebrated for its livability is now battling a trifecta of homelessness, poverty, and crime, painting a troubling picture for its future. The data is sobering. In 2024, Seattle's unsheltered homeless population was estimated at over 84,000, a significant jump. Poverty rates, while fluctuating, remain stubbornly high, impacting a substantial portion of its diverse population. And crime statistics reveal a city struggling to maintain public safety, with certain categories seeing double-digit percentage increases in recent years. What's happening in this iconic Pacific Northwest metropolis? This video delves deep into the heart of Seattle's crisis, exploring the interconnected threads of these challenging issues and seeking to understand the human stories behind the statistics. The shadow of homelessness, a visible crisis. One of the most immediate and visible signs of Seattle's crisis is a pervasive issue of homelessness. 10 encampments, once a rare sight, are now a common feature beneath highway overpasses, in public parks, and along city streets. This isn't merely an aesthetic concern. It represents a profound humanitarian challenge that speaks to deeper systemic failures within the city's social safety net. The sheer scale of homelessness in Seattle is staggering, and understanding its root causes requires a multifaceted approach, acknowledging both individual circumstances and broader societal factors. The annual point-in-time count consistently reveals thousands of individuals experiencing homelessness in King County, with a significant concentration in Seattle itself. While the exact numbers fluctuate, the trend has largely been upward over the past decade. For instance, while some years might show slight dips, the overall trajectory since 2010 indicates a substantial increase in both sheltered and unsheltered individuals. In 2024, for example, the unsheltered population alone was estimated to be well over 90,000 across King County, a figure that continues to challenge the city's resources and compassion. These individuals are not a monolithic group. They include families with children, veterans, individuals struggling with mental health issues and substance use disorders, and those simply priced out an increasingly unaffordable housing market. The human face of homelessness is diverse and complex, defying simplistic stereotypes. The primary drivers of homelessness in Seattle are often cited as the exorbitant cost of housing, a lack of affordable housing units, and insufficient wages to keep pace with the rising cost of living. The median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Seattle can easily exceed $2,500, requiring an income level that is simply unattainable for many hourly wage earners. When unexpected life events occur, a job loss, a medical emergency, a family crisis, many individuals and families find themselves teetering on the brink of losing their housing, with little to no financial cushion to absorb a shock. Furthermore, the correlation between mental health and homelessness is undeniable. A significant percentage of the homeless population struggles with severe mental illnesses, often exacerbated by the trauma of living on the streets. Similarly, substance use disorders frequently entwine with homelessness, creating a vicious cycle that is incredibly difficult to break without comprehensive support. Seattle has implemented various strategies to address homelessness, including increased funding for shelters, transitional housing programs, and outreach services. However, these efforts often feel like a drop in the ocean compared to the magnitude of the problem. Debates rage over the effectiveness of different approaches, with some advocating for housing-first initiatives that prioritize providing stable housing without preconditions, while others emphasize the need for robust mental health and addiction treatment services. The challenge is not just about providing a roof. It's about addressing the underlying causes that lead individuals to homelessness in the first place, requiring a coordinated and well-resourced response from government agencies, nonprofits, and the community at large. The sheer scale of the crisis means that no single solution will suffice, demanding an integrated approach that tackles both immediate needs and long-term systemic issues. The grip of poverty, a hidden struggle in a city of wealth. In a city celebrated for its billionaires and tech titans, the persistence of poverty can seem like an anomaly. Yet, Beneath the veneer of prosperity, a significant portion of Seattle's population struggles with economic insecurity. Poverty in Seattle is often less visible than homelessness, but is equally corrosive, impacting individuals' ability to access health care, education, and other fundamental necessities. It's a struggle that often plays out behind closed doors, but its effects reverberate throughout the entire community, contributing to broader social issues. While Seattle's median household income is significantly higher than the national average, this figure often masks the deep income disparities within the city. According to recent data, a notable percentage of Seattle residents still live below the federal poverty line, a threshold that, given Seattle's high cost of living, arguably doesn't even accurately capture the true extent of financial hardship. For example, while the national poverty rate might hover around 11 to 12%, Seattle's specific demographics show that certain communities and demographic groups experience poverty at much higher rates. Single-parent households, minority communities, and individuals working in low-wage service industries are disproportionately affected. The cost of living in Seattle is among the highest in the nation. The amount of income required to merely survive, let alone thrive, is substantially greater than in many other major U.S. cities. This means that individuals earning what might be considered a decent wage elsewhere can still find themselves struggling paycheck to paycheck in Seattle. Several factors contribute to persistent poverty in Seattle. The aforementioned high cost of living is a primary culprit, rendering even seemingly good wages insufficient to cover basic expenses like rent, food, and transportation. The erosion of middle-class jobs, coupled with a growing gig economy that often lacks benefits and stable income, further exacerbates the problem. Education and skills gaps also play a role. Individuals without the specialized skills demanded by the tech industry often find themselves competing for a limited number of low-wage jobs. Systemic inequities, including racial discrimination and lack of access to quality education and healthcare, also perpetuate cycles of poverty across generations. For many, simply breaking even is a constant battle, leading to chronic stress and limited opportunities for upward mobility. Addressing poverty in Seattle requires a multi-pronged approach that extends beyond simple welfare programs. Initiatives such as increasing the minimum wage, expanding access to affordable childcare, investing in job training programs for in-demand sectors, and advocating for more equitable housing policies are crucial. Furthermore, supporting small businesses and local economies can create more stable job opportunities for residents. The city also needs to critically examine its zoning laws and development policies to ensure that new housing construction includes a significant component of truly affordable units, not just market-rate luxury apartments. The goal isn't just to alleviate poverty, but to create pathways to economic self-sufficiency and genuine opportunity for all residents, ensuring that the city's prosperity is shared more equitably. The shadow of crime, eroding public safety and trust. The rise in crime rates has become another pressing concern for Seattle residents and businesses, further complicating the city's efforts to address its social challenges. While crime is a complex phenomenon with many contributing factors, its visible increase has led to a palpable sense of unease and a growing perception that public safety is eroding. This shift in the urban environment not only impacts the daily lives of citizens, but also has broader economic and social ramifications, potentially deterring investment and tourism. Recent years have seen worrying trends in various categories of crime across Seattle. While overall crime rates can be nuanced, specific categories like property crime and certain violent crimes have shown significant upticks. For example, some reports indicate a double-digit percentage increase in certain types of property crimes, such as vehicle thefts and burglaries, over recent years when compared to pre-pandemic levels. While homicides may fluctuate, there's a general perception of increased boldness in criminal activity. These statistics are not just abstract numbers. They represent real experiences of victimization and a decline in the feeling of security that residents once took for granted. Businesses, especially in downtown areas, have reported increased shoplifting and vandalism, contributing to closures and a decline in foot traffic, further impacting the city's economic vitality and creating a vicious cycle of urban decay. Multiple factors are attributed to the increase in crime. The lingering effects of the pandemic, including economic disruption and increased social isolation, are often cited. The interconnectedness with homelessness and substance use is also undeniable. Individuals struggling with addiction or living on the streets may resort to petty crime to survive, though it's crucial not to equate homelessness directly with criminality. Additionally, debates around police staffing levels, morale, and changes in policing strategies have been central to public discourse. Some argue that a reduction in police presence or perceived lack of enforcement has emboldened criminals, while others point to the need for more community-based violence prevention programs and addressing the root causes of crime through social services rather than solely punitive measures. The judicial system also plays a role, with discussions around prosecution rates and sentencing contributing to the complex tapestry of public safety concerns. Addressing crime in Seattle requires a balanced and comprehensive approach. This includes adequately resourcing law enforcement to respond effectively to incidents and conduct thorough investigations. However, it also demands significant investment in proactive strategies such as violence interruption programs, mental health and addiction treatment, and reentry services for formerly incarcerated individuals. Community engagement is paramount, fostering trust between residents and law enforcement, and empowering neighborhoods to participate in crime prevention efforts. Additionally, addressing the underlying issues of poverty and homelessness is crucial, as these social determinants often intersect with criminal activity. The goal is not just to react to crime, but to prevent it by building a more resilient, equitable, and supportive community where all residents feel safe and have opportunities to thrive. Interconnections, how these crises fuel each other. It's crucial to understand that homelessness, poverty, and crime in Seattle are not isolated phenomena. Instead, they are deeply interconnected, forming a complex web where each issue exacerbates the others, creating a challenging environment for solutions. This intricate relationship means that addressing one problem effectively often requires tackling the others simultaneously. It's a systemic challenge that demands a holistic and coordinated response, rather than piecemeal interventions. The link between poverty and homelessness is perhaps the most direct. As previously discussed, the high cost of living in Seattle means that even a temporary loss of income or an unexpected expense can push individuals and families from precarious housing situations into homelessness. Low-wage jobs often don't provide a safety net, leaving workers vulnerable. When people are struggling to afford rent, they are often forced to choose between housing, food, and health care, making them incredibly susceptible to the kind of financial shock that can lead to living on the streets. Without stable employment and an adequate income, securing and maintaining housing becomes an insurmountable challenge for many. The lack of affordable housing options acts as a bottleneck, ensuring that even if individuals escape poverty, finding a place to live remains incredibly difficult. The connection between homelessness and crime is also significant, though it's important to differentiate between correlation and causation. Individuals experiencing homelessness are often more vulnerable to becoming victims of crime themselves, facing assault, theft, and exploitation. However, some individuals, out of desperation or due to underlying issues such as substance use disorders or mental health crises, may engage in petty theft or other crimes to survive. The presence of visible encampments can also lead to increased reports of certain types of property crime in surrounding areas, creating friction between housed and unhoused populations. While it's critical not to stereotype or criminalize homelessness, the reality is that the stress and lack of resources associated with living on the streets can contribute to situations where individuals might engage in illegal activities, further perpetuating their cycle of hardship and making it more difficult to reintegrate into society. Finally, poverty and crime are also intricately linked. Economic hardship and lack of opportunity are well-documented risk factors for involvement in criminal activity. When individuals lack legitimate pathways to economic stability, some may turn to illegal means to support themselves or their families. Moreover, areas with higher rates of poverty often experience higher rates of crime due to a lack of resources, social infrastructure, and sometimes a weakened sense of community cohesion. The stress and despair associated with poverty can also contribute to mental health issues and substance abuse, which, in turn, can be risk factors for criminal behavior. Addressing the root causes of poverty through education, job creation, and economic justice initiatives is therefore a crucial component of any comprehensive strategy to reduce crime rates and enhance public safety. The road ahead, solutions, and hope for Seattle. Despite the daunting challenges, Seattle is not without hope. The city is home to a vibrant community of activists, nonprofit organizations, and dedicated citizens who are tirelessly working to address these issues. While there are no easy answers, a multifaceted and collaborative approach offers the most promising path forward. This section explores potential solutions and highlights the critical role of collective action in rebuilding Seattle's social and economic health. One key area of focus is affordable housing. This isn't just about building more units. It's about building the right kind of units, housing that is genuinely affordable for individuals and families at various income levels, from extremely low income to moderate income. This requires innovative zoning reforms, incentives for developers to include affordable units, and significant public investment in social housing initiatives. Strategies like land value taxes or inclusionary zoning, requiring a percentage of new developments to be affordable, could play a role. Beyond building new housing, preserving existing affordable housing stock through rent stabilization and preventing displacement is also crucial. The goal must be to create a housing market that serves all residents, not just the wealthy, by increasing supply across the entire spectrum of affordability.